Hello and welcome to the last class in our series of transition from winter to spring. So today we're going to focus on continuing with the process of kind of spring cleaning our body. And today we'll be really focusing on detoxification. So toxins are just a natural part of life. It's a good idea to do practice like this on a very regular basis because we build up toxins daily, weekly, monthly, obviously. So the more that you're able to clear out some of those toxins, the better your body's going to be able to run more smoothly and efficiently. So for today's class, you will need potentially 2 blocks that are optional if you just need to have the floor brought up to you for forward folds and halfway lifts and such. So have those set aside if you think you're going to need those. And today's quote is by BKS Iyengar. I think it's especially helpful for for the theme of today's class. The body is your temple. Keep it pure and clean. The soul. So the body is your temple. Keep it pure and clean for your soul to reside in. Really love that quote. So in the last class, I introduced Yuja Breath and like to go over that again a little bit, do a little bit more of that to start the class. You'll find that Yuja Breath is a very common breath that we do in yoga class. And again, if this doesn't resonate with you for any reason, it bothers you in some way, then just go back to your normal breathing. But really the idea of Ujjayi breathing, or just noticing your breath in general, yoga is not just about poses and moving through them and working up a sweat or whatever, or getting more flexible. It's a lot about matching your breath to your movements. And Ujjayi breath, or even just normal breathing, is a really good way to really be in tune with your breath. So we'll just start here, sit in this cross-legged position. You can sit in a chair, up on a block, whatever. You can have a blanket underneath of your seat. Remember, Ujjayi breath is what's also sounds like oceanic breath, and it's also like you're fogging up a mirror. So if you do it with your mouth open, it sounds like this. You breathe in. Now do it with your mouth closed this time. Inhale. So that's the basic idea. So let's just do a couple rounds of those. Let's do 5 rounds of inhales and exhale with Ujjayi breath best you can. Here we go. Inhale. 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 And once more, inhale. So again, there's a slight constriction in the back of your throat to make that noise. Again, you can always use regular breath. So let's come into a child's pose to get started. So go ahead and set yourself up with either your wide-kneed child's pose, stretch out long on your mat, sit back on your heels. I'm going to stay up for just a moment and talk you through this pose. But again, just quick demo for anybody who may be new. Wide-legged, wide knees, lean back on your heels, stretch forward on your mat with your forehead touching either a block or the mat. Find what works best for you and settle into this pose. And go ahead and do a little bit more of that Ujjayi breath while you're there. Do 3 rounds of on your own at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling, really noticing your breath, trying to get as deep as you can. Again, noticing your breath is a big part of yoga. It's really important that we match our breath in our movements, or when we're in a pose, to be noticing our breath. It's also a great focal point to take us out of our heads so that we're not thinking all the time, and instead we're actually thinking about the pose and we're concentrating on our breath. All right, and from there, we're going to come up into sitting on our heels. If this doesn't work for you, or you can also sit up on a block if that works better for you, or if your knees just cannot deal with this, then go ahead and sit in a simple cross-legged position. I'll turn sideways. From here, we're going to inhale, get tall, long through the spine. You really want to lift up out of the pelvis. Bring your right arm out to the right-hand side, left arm up overhead. We'll do a side stretch here, always keeping this left hip grounded. Breathe here. Once more. Inhale, come back up. Sit up nice and tall. And from there, left arm out to the left, right arm up overhead, keeping your right hip grounded this time. And breathe here. Once more. Inhale and come back up. And from here, we'll come onto all fours and do a few rounds of cat-cow. So if you already know what you're doing, go ahead and get started. Otherwise, I'll walk you through some alignment points. Hands will be underneath of your shoulders, and your knees will be underneath of your hips. On the inhale, you're going to arch your lower back, look up, and exhale, and you're going to round in. So round your back, tuck your chin, look inside. 3 more. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round in. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, last one. And exhale, round in. Nice. Come back to neutral spine. Now we'll come up to the top of our mat and stand in mountain pose. So from here, get all grounded in all 4 corners of your feet. Really feel the earth beneath your toes. Your feet are about hip distance apart. From here, stand, get tall. Really lengthen out of your pelvis. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Grab the blocks if you know you need them. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step your right foot back, drop your right knee, come into a low lunge. Then rise your arms up overhead. Back toes can be tucked or untucked. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat. Lift your back knee off of the ground and come into a twist. So just open to the left. So your left arm is up in the air and you're twisting to the left. Breathing here. From here, step forward and exhale, fold forward. Fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Come all the way back up to mountain. Reaching overhead. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step that left foot back behind you. Drop your back knee and bring your arms up overhead. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your left hand to the mat. Rise your back knee off the ground and twist to the right. So bring your right arm overhead and twist to the right. Breathing here. And from here, go ahead and step forward on your mat. And exhale, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, come all the way back up. Okay, from here, we're going to do a twisted chair. So I'll start with doing from the side. So from here, you can either bring your feet closer together. You can keep them out hip width apart. You decide what's best for you. Go ahead and sink back into your chair pose. So you can stay more upright or you can come further down. From here, bring your hands into a prayer position. And I'll go ahead and turn to the side so you can see this. And so now we're going to twist to our left. So that may look like this for you. That may look more like this for you. Or that may look like this for you. So if you're able to tuck that your right elbow into your left leg, the outside of your left knee, then go for it. If not, you can stay more upright or even here. Breathe. And exhale. Let's come into a quick forward fold here and we'll release that. Let your head dangle. And inhale, come all the way back up to mountain pose and just let that go. Kind of stretch out the legs a minute. We're going to do the other side. So, again, sink into your chair. And now we're going to go to the other side. So pick your variation that works best for you. And we're going to twist to the right. I will show it this time without the knee. Without the elbow being attached to my knee. Go ahead and twist to the right. And make sure you breathe here. Sinking deep into that chair if possible. The imaginary chair that you wish you had. And release that. Come into a forward fold and let that go. Nicely done. Inhale and come all the way back up to mountain pose. All right, let's come up to the top of our mat. And inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale out, halfway lift. And from here, go ahead and plant your hands and step back into a downward dog. So get a nice long downward dog here. Really pedal up those legs, stretch everything out. Hips up to the sky. Hands are firmly rooted into the ground. Stretch through your arms, your legs. And when you feel ready, go ahead and stretch out your legs. Stretch your legs out long and straight if possible. Otherwise, keep micro bend. Breathing here. From here, we're going to come into three-legged down dog. And give me one moment here. I need to adjust my shirt there. There we go. All right, so from here, you're going to raise the right leg up any amount. Now, you can always just stay in downward dog if you find this is just too much. But otherwise, keep everything the same and lift the right leg up any amount. So you can go as high as you want, or you can stay lower to the ground. Staying in your down dog. This is three-legged down dog. Breathe and release that leg. And now let's do the other side. Lift the left leg up. Breathing here. Keeping the hips square to the ground as much as you can. And exhale, lower that leg down. And now come down to all fours. And from here, we're going to come into forearm plank. So yeah, we're building a little bit of heat. We're moving things around. That's all part of the detoxification process. So you could always skip something that may be too much for you. If you find that, please do. From here, you're going to come forward with your forearms on the ground. And go ahead and lift your knees off the ground and come into a nice forearm plank. So you're trying not to be like this. You don't want to have your back really way up in the air. You want to have a nice straight line across. Breathe here. I'm going to stay here for a couple breaths. Breathing and holding this. Hard to do this while talking. And exhale, bring your knees down the ground and come all the way down. Come down to rest your forehead on your hands for just a moment and take a rest. It's important to try to keep breathing in that pose, which I know is very difficult, especially difficult when you're trying to talk and breathe and do the pose. So obviously for you, you're not having to talk. So definitely do your best to really watch your breath when you're in something like that. From here, go ahead and place your hands down by around about your chest area, chest height, and inhale. Let's come up into a nice cobra and kind of release that lower back a bit. And let's exhale and come back to a nice downward facing dog. Really stretch that out. And inhale, look forward and walk forward on your mat. Inhale and look forward, look out. And exhale, fold in. And inhale and come all the way up. Hands reaching overhead into mountain pose. Excellent. Now, you may need your block. So if you have them handy, go ahead and grab one. And just set that here in the middle of your mat. And from here, we're going to come into turning our feet out so they're parallel on the mat. Nice wide-legged stance here. And you're going to inhale. I'll show you with the block what you might need. Inhale here. Excuse me. And exhale, fold forward, hinge at the hips. Bring both your hands down to the block. And inhale and look out. Look forward in front of you. Exhale, fold in for just a moment. And then from here, we're really going to concentrate on a twist. So bring your right hand either to the block or the mat in front of you, about right there in the middle of your chest. And now rise that left arm up, trying your best to keep the small of your back, the lower back, flat, as if like you could hold a tray there and not dump it. So you're not trying to really crank it. You're trying to keep this flat. And if it helps, put your hand on the small of your back, your lower back, and just twist your body. You're twisting your torso. So that stays flat. And if you've got that flat, then go ahead and raise that left arm up overhead and get a nice twist here. You can always have a small, slight micro bend in these knees. All right, let's replace the left hand where the right was at. And now the left hand is the center of our chest. And now it's the same thing. So again, place the hand on the small of your back, that lower back area, and go ahead and twist your torso, keeping the small of your back flat as you can. And now if you're still steady and ready, go ahead and raise that right arm up overhead. So you're twisting to the right, breathing here. Once more. And bring your hand back down. Let that go for a moment. Just go ahead and fold in and let all that go. And now we'll inhale and come all the way back up. Now the block may also come in handy here, so go ahead and keep that nearby. We'll come all the way to stand back up. We're going to do our balance pose for today. And this can be challenging for some people, so the block could come in handy. I'll show it to you without the block, and then I'll show it with the block. So what we're going to do is called eagle pose. And we're going to start with our balancing on our left leg, and our right leg is what's going to get twisted around. So we're going to go ahead and bend the knees a bit. And now you're going to take that right leg as if you're sitting in a chair. And maybe when you cross your legs, sit in a chair. And this is where maybe, again, a block could come in handy. And you could just start right here. So you can have your left foot next to the block, and you can have your other one steadying on that block if you need to. Again, maybe a chair or a wall nearby would be very helpful. If you've got your balance and it feels all right with you, you can try to wrap that leg. This may not be where you're at. And if that's fine, then go ahead. If you're not able to wrap the foot around the back of your calf, then go ahead and leave it on the block. I'm trying to talk through this pose, so I'm going to use the block right now because keeping my balance is hard. So inhale here. Now we're going to do the rest of this pose. So the other part of it is our right leg is on top. So now our left arm will be on top. So take your arms out, cross them so that your left arm is on top of your right. Bring them up. You can either stay here or reach around and grab the back of your left hand with your right hand, if that's okay. If not, you can always stay here, or you can always do something like this. This is the full pose. I'm going to try to go into it without talking. So that's the pose. So let's try that. So everyone stand up, come out of it for a moment, breathe and clear all that out. And now let's go into it. Balance on your left, cross your right over your left. You can stay right here if you'd like. If you can do that, go ahead and wrap that right foot behind your left calf. Now your left arm is on top. That right arm is underneath. Reach up. Take that right hand, clasp the left. Find a steady point. This is a tough pose. It's a great pose. And release and let that go. Excellent. On the other side, I'll show the modification with the block. And again, you can always be doing this close to a wall. You could even do this with your back or your even, just the back side of you up against the wall to help steady you. So do what you need to do to make this pose more accessible. Okay, stand all the way up in mountain. Just release all that. Release that side, and let's go to the other side. So again, your right foot now is what we're going to balance on. Bend your knee slightly. And go ahead and cross that left leg over your right, like you're sitting in a chair. And again, you can just use this block for a nice little balance to help hold you there. And now, bring your arms out to the sides. And now we're going to cross the right arm over the left. Bring them up. You can stay right here. You can just have the back of your arm, your palms, back of your hands, touching. Or you can wrap. So my left is on the bottom, and it's wrapping around and touching. The left palm is touching the right palm. So go ahead and steady yourself here. Engage in your core. That's going to help your balance and breathing. And find that point to gaze at. And let all that go and release that. Shake that all out. Very, very good work. Set the block aside, and we're going to come down to a seat. Good job. That is a challenging pose, but as you can see, any of the challenging poses, you can modify them and build up to those poses. And you can also leave the arms out of it. So, there's a lot of things you can do with these poses. You don't have to do the whole pose right away. Let's start with a seated twist. So we're going to go ahead and I'll turn sideways on the mat. Have your legs stretched out long in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. You can sit up on a blanket if you like here. And from here, go ahead and bend your right knee in towards your chest. And then take it and step it over your left foot. You can stay here. If you would like, you can bend this left knee and bring your left foot next to your right hip. So you're in this configuration. Sit up nice and tall. And now we're going to twist over to the right. So I always say get the guts out of the way. Put your right arm, your hand behind you. And bring your arm around your right knee and look over to the right. It's a nice twist. Again, this bottom leg can be out straight on the mat. Breathing here. And exhale, come back to center. Stretch your legs out long on the mat for a moment. Bend that left knee in. Step that left foot over your right leg. You can stay here and do the twist, or you can bend the right leg in. So I'm going to do it with it straight out just so you can see the difference on the variation on this one. Sit up tall, so either your leg is bent, both legs are bent, the bottom leg is bent over to the side, or it's straight out. And then exhale, left hand behind you. Grab a hold of your knee with your arm and look over to the left. Twisting to the left. Going for a nice straight back the best you can and really twisting from the torso area. Breathing here. And exhale, come back to center. All right, from here, go ahead and lie back onto our back. We'll clear all that out with a nice bridge pose. So from here, place the soles of your feet on the ground, about hip distance apart, arms at your sides. And from here, go ahead and lift the hips up. Roll your shoulders back underneath of you. And breathe here, keeping your knees pointed up toward the ceiling. And exhale, lower back down. Good job. And from there, now I'm going to go bring in both of our knees into our chest. Give it a nice squeeze before we finish up with one recline twist before Shavasana. So from here, go ahead and stretch that left foot long on the left leg, not just the foot, the leg. Go ahead and keep your right leg bent into your chest. And from here, just cross it over your body to the left, bringing your right arm out to the right and looking over to your right. So we'll come into a nice reclined twist here. It's going to release the lower back. Give your kidneys some fresh blood. Nice rinse for the whole system. And come back up. Squeeze both your knees into your chest again. And now stretch your right leg long onto the mat. I'm telling you, I think that my brain just stops working when I'm teaching yoga sometimes. Breathe here. Left leg is long on the mat. And now bring your left leg, man. It's the end of the class. I apologize. You know what you're doing probably at this point. So left knee over to the right. And bring your left arm out to the left. And breathe here. And inhale and come back. Give your knees another nice squeeze. And go ahead and stretch out long on your mat into Shavasana. So just let yourself go. Let your legs flop open, your arms. Just let everything go onto the mat. Really just let the effects of your practice wash over you and just really let everything go into the mat. Take some nice deep breaths here in and out through the nose. Notice your breathing. Noticing how you feel after this class. We did a few challenging poses here, so hopefully you feel a little energy radiating through your body. Nice, clean, fresh energy going. And hopefully, if you've done all the classes this month, you feel even more prepared for springtime and the rejuvenation and renewal of life that's coming upon us. Just let everything go. Take a moment here. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana. I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about meditation again. So if you'd like to set up and join me for that, you can. Or you can also, if you find that meditation for you works really well laying down, then go ahead and stay in your Shavasana. That's perfectly fine. Or you can also just ignore me if you'd like. But I think meditation is a great thing to add to your practice. So for today, we've already talked about, finding your seat, getting comfort, being comfortable, and finding a good time of day that's good for you. So today, we're just going to find a good, comfortable seat, sit up on a blanket, lay down, whatever's best for you. Get comfortable, close your eyes, and I want you just to notice your breath and watch your thoughts. We're going to go with just very simple, basic meditation, although it's simple, but yet it's not as simple as it sounds. Oh, just notice my breath and watch my thoughts. That sounds easy. And we all know that's harder than it seems. So just go ahead and close your eyes. Tune into your breath. Notice the inhale through your nose and the exhale through your nose. Notice the breath coming in, how it feels, and the breath coming back out. And notice the breath going in is cooler. When it comes out, it's warmed. It's warmer. Just notice your breath. And as a thought comes in, notice it as a cloud floating by on the sky and just watch it float on out. Don't get caught up in the thought. Don't get caught up in the stories. If you find yourself doing that, remind yourself, notice the breath again. Come back to the breath. Always come back to the breath. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of quiet time here to do that. But again, remember, as a thought comes in and tries to interrupt you, that's normal. Notice it, let it go. Come back to your breath. Always back to the breath. Go ahead and come back into your body. Come back into the room. Open your eyes. And I encourage you to pick a time of day and try 2 to 5 minutes per day for a week and see how you feel. See if you notice some subtle changes. This is a short amount of time, but you're building a habit and you got to start small. It's a great way to help build that habit. So try 2 to 5 minutes of sitting, noticing your breath, watching your thoughts, see how that goes for about a week, see how you feel. And then from there, you can slowly add more time as you feel comfortable. So you can add, if you start with 2 minutes, then maybe the next week you do 5, and then maybe you continually gradually add more time on. So I highly encourage you to try that. There's lots of meditation apps out there that you can do if you want to have one that's guided. I personally use Insight Timer. I don't get any kind of, I'm not affiliated with them in any way other than I use them and I really love them, and they do have a free version. So the paid version is just extra stuff. So if you are interested, and there's plenty of free meditations on Insight Timer, so I highly recommend that. But there's a lot of other ones out there. So if you want something to help you guide you through your 2 to 5 minutes a day for a week, an add-on, try one of those out. I also want to remind you, after a detoxification class with the twists and everything like we did today, it's a good idea to drink a nice glass of water to help cleanse the body of the toxins that we've kind of knocked loose, so to speak. Really, even any time after any yoga class, it's a good idea to drink water, but especially after you've been doing twist and helping to remove some of those toxins. So drink a big glass of water, and I hope that this series, if you've done all of the classes in this series, I hope it's helped you get ready for the upcoming spring and the renewal of life and the warmer weather that we're going to be having. So, and if you're already in the warmer weather, then and congratulations. So, and good for you guys, because we've had some warm weather, and it's, it's Indiana's the way it is. So thank you very much for joining me, and happy spring to all of you out there. Namaste. I look forward to seeing you in the next set of classes.